What if you could go back just once? One mistake, one moment, one sentence you wish you could take back. And suddenly, time isn't something you remember. It's something you can revisit. At first, your mind jumps to the spectacular. Dinosaurs roaming the earth, ancient empires rising and collapsing, moments that shaped history. But be honest, you wouldn't go there. You'd go somewhere smaller. A conversation that still echoes in your head. A decision you replay at 2 a.m. A goodbye you didn't realize was the last one. That's the truth about time travel. It sounds scientific, but it becomes emotional very fast. Because if you stepped back into your own past, you wouldn't just observe it. You'd feel it. You'd see the version of yourself who didn't know what was coming. The version of you who still believed things would turn out differently. And here's where it gets dangerous. You would know the outcome. You would know which risk failed, which person walked away, which choice quietly changed everything. So what would you do? Would you change it? Let's say you do. You stop yourself from saying the wrong thing. You choose differently. You avoid the pain. And at first, life improves. Cleaner timeline, fewer regrets, smoother path. But every change creates a ripple. The struggle you erased might have built resilience. The failure you deleted might have redirected you somewhere better. The heartbreak you avoided might have shaped who you became. We imagine a perfect revision, but real life is messy for a reason. Now zoom out. What if time travel isn't just personal? What if it's political? Governments preventing wars before they start. Financial crashes erased before they happen. Elections quietly adjusted before a single vote is cast. Who decides which version of history is the right one? And what happens if changing the past erases the very chain of events that led to time travel being invented in the first place? That's the paradox. The moment you can rewrite time, nothing is stable anymore, and that's only the past. Because the future might be even more unsettling. Now imagine pressing one word, future. No flashing lights, no dramatic countdown, just a quiet shift. You open your eyes, and the world has moved on without you. Buildings stretch higher. Screens disappear into glass. Voices sound the same, but older. And somewhere in that world is you. Be honest, that's what you'd look for first. Not flying cars, not world peace. You. Did I make it? Did I become who I wanted to be? Am I happy? Let's say you find out. You see your future clearly. Maybe you're successful, stable, surrounded by people who love you. It feels comforting. But now there's a problem. And knowing changes everything. If you've already seen yourself succeed, do you still push as hard? Or do you slow down because the ending feels guaranteed? And if the future looks disappointing, if you see regret in your own eyes, do you panic? Do you try to force change? Do you live in quiet fear of becoming that version? The mystery of life is part of what makes it meaningful. Right now, every choice feels open, every outcome uncertain. When you remove uncertainty, you remove tension, you remove surprise, you remove the invisible pressure that forces growth. And here's where it gets stranger. What if the future you saw changes the moment you return? You come back with knowledge. You act differently. You hesitate in places you once rushed. You rush in places you once hesitated. And just like that, the future shifts. So what did you really see? A fixed destiny? Or just one possible path? If time travel only reveals probabilities, then the future isn't solid. It's fluid, and every visit contaminates it. Now imagine this power scaled up. Corporations jumping ahead to check market trends. Investors peeking at stock prices years before anyone else. Politicians previewing public reaction before making a decision. The world wouldn't run on strategy anymore. It would run on previews. Competition disappears. Risk disappears. Discovery disappears. Because why experiment when you can just copy tomorrow? Progress stops being invention. It becomes imitation, and something subtle starts to erode. If everyone can visit the future, the present becomes less valuable. Why savor today if you've already seen what's next? Why take risks if outcomes are visible? Why struggle if the ending is confirmed? Time stops feeling like a journey. It becomes a hallway you can walk back and forth in. Convenient, efficient, and strangely empty. But we haven't touched the most unsettling possibility yet. Because what if you don't just visit your past or future? What if you meet yourself? So, can you meet yourself? Picture it. You're standing in a quiet room, and across from you is you. Same face, same voice, same memories, but shaped by different time. Maybe older, maybe younger, maybe carrying scars you don't have yet. At first it feels fascinating. You'd study them, search for clues, compare details. Are they confident, tired, proud, regretful? But after the curiosity fades, something heavier settles in. Which one is the real you? If your future self gives you advice, are you still choosing freely? Or are you just following instructions? If your past self asks for help, do you interfere? Or let them struggle because you know it shapes them? Time travel promises control, but it quietly steals it, because the present only feels powerful when it's the only place you can stand. Right now, this second matters because it's unrepeatable. You can't rewind it. You can't preview it. You can't edit it. You can only live it. That limitation is what gives it weight. If time becomes flexible, moments become disposable. Made a mistake? Go back. Curious about tomorrow? Skip ahead. Unhappy with today? Rewrite it. Life turns editable. And when everything is editable, nothing feels permanent. Nothing feels earned. Nothing feels sacred. Cause and effect begin to unravel. Your life stops being a straight line. It becomes a web, and webs are fragile. Fix one regret, and you might erase the reason you met someone important. Avoid one failure, and you might lose the lesson that would have strengthened you. Chase the perfect timeline, and you might spend eternity tweaking it, because perfection keeps moving. And here's the quiet truth. So much of who we are comes from not knowing. Not knowing how things will turn out. Not knowing who we'll become. Not knowing whether we'll succeed. That uncertainty creates courage. If you already knew the outcome, bravery wouldn't mean much. Risk wouldn't feel real. Even love would change. Part of loving someone is stepping into a future you cannot see. If you could jump ahead and confirm how it ends, would it feel the same? Maybe time travel wouldn't destroy the world. Maybe it would just drain the magic from it. Because mystery is powerful, and limits give life its shape. The truth is, time moves in one direction for us. Forward. And that isn't a flaw. It's a gift. It forces us to choose, to commit, to accept that some things can't be undone. Yes, regret exists, but so does growth. Yes, uncertainty exists, but so does possibility. If time travel were possible, the world might become louder, more unstable, more chaotic. But right now, you only have this moment, unedited, unseen, unspoiled. And maybe that's exactly what makes it valuable. So instead of wishing you could go back or rushing to see what's ahead, maybe the real power is learning how to stay right here. Because sometimes the fact that we can't time travel is exactly what makes being alive feel real. And maybe that's enough.